Well, good morning, everybody. Yeah, Sunday was one of the most gorgeous days in our church as the sanctuary, our worship space, was covered with hundreds of beautiful quilts. They were in place from the balcony all the way to the pulpit. They were draped over our pews. They were hanging over our altar rails. These were absolutely just beautiful works of art that filled our sanctuary with warmth and beauty. And I have one right here just to kind of uh, give you an idea of what was filling our space. These were so much more than just beautiful blankets, but they absolutely represented a ministry to children who are in crisis. They're made by our heart to heart quilters, and many of these beautiful quilts will be sent to the patients at our local Dell Children's Hospital to comfort children and to help them during this time of need and to remind them that they're not alone, that they are loved and they are cared for. As I was taking all of this in, I was also listening to the scripture lesson of the day, and their ministry reminds me of what Dr. Luke was writing about in Acts chapter 2. And I wanted to read to you from that passage. It's really about the early church, and this is what we read in the book of Acts. Awe came upon everyone because many wonders and signs were being done by the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all as any had need. In this scripture passage, we get a glimpse not only of how the early church shared life together, but how they shared their lives with their community, and they did so by blessing the community with their money, their land, and as we just heard, their goods, the things that they had uh, created. And that's exactly, I think, what our heart to heart quilters did as they shared their talents and their goods with those in need, especially our children. And I'm curious this morning as we start our day, or maybe you're watching this toward the end of your day, how could we live our day blessing others to the glory of God through the things that we possess? And whether it's our money or whether it's our gifts and our talents. This week, our church is collecting donations for the United Methodist Committee on Relief, which is reaching into the lives of families devastated by the recent hurricanes in the southeastern part of the United States. And we want to help them who are mourning personal loss as well as the loss of their homes and certainly displaced, help them in their time of need. And so by sharing our possessions, we're doing that. This Friday, we'll have a group of men gather in our parking lot to use their gifts of handyman work to do household repairs for the elderly and disabled in our community. We have a group every week that go into our local schools and read just for 15 minutes to a student in an elementary school through our literacy partner ministry. We have an incredible gift of group of crafters who use their gifts of creativity to create these beautiful works of art, and they sell these works, these goods. For the sake of mission in our community, there are people who are prayer warriors and letter writers, people who just make phone calls just to encourage people and let them know they're not forgotten and that we are praying for them in many, many different ways. I see folks all around me using their gifts, their talents, what they possess to bless others for the glory of God. I wonder how you and I could do that today. My thought for today would be to consider all the ways that God has blessed our lives and to ask God to help us to have the wisdom and the courage to use those gifts for the sake of others. I believe if we're willing to do that, then our lives will be filled with awe, just like the lives of those in the early church, because we'll become a sign and wonder to those around us as we reveal the presence, the love, the grace, and goodness of our God. So that's my challenge to myself this week. I hope you'll join me for that challenge. Enjoy your Wednesday as we all lean into living lives filled with awe as signs and wonders for the glory of God. You have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for joining today. Maybe you know someone who could use some encouraging words, maybe somebody you know who's very gifted and you want to celebrate their giftedness. Share this with them. Encourage others through this little social media post. But more than anything, know that you are loved and that you are a gift to the world because you are God's